Hey everybody, thanks for dropping by the channel. I'm going to be sculpting in ZBrush tonight, but just a few little preliminary things going along here. I've spent most of the day taking the lawnmower apart, putting it back together, and mowing the rest of the property. This has been an ongoing battle for about the last 3 weeks as I've been fighting with trying to get the lawnmower working. But anyway, so I finally was able to do that. I had to order several rounds of replacement parts for it and all of that kind of thing. So anyway, so I'm kind of beat from fighting with working on the lawnmower. But anyway, as far as the sculpting goes, what I've got that I want to work on tonight is I'm going to try to do some little scatter terrain pieces for like a sci-fi settlement. I've been kind of thinking about, starting up tribes thing over on my mini factory again. I haven't decided what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it. But these little terrain pieces that I wanted to make would be part of a cool, like a sci-fi welcome pack, that you'd be able to get some little terrain pieces in addition to some little characters that I would probably do just specifically for that. Anyway, we'll get to the characters and stuff later. But let's see. I wanted to check and see. It says that I'm live on here. Let's see. There was one other thing that I wanted to check on. And let's go take a look at this. Let's see. Sculpting live. All right. Yeah, let's turn that off so there's not any audio echo. And let's see. Yep, shows up in the chat. Chatosaurus Rex. So, cool. So that's working for me. Hopefully it'll be working for you if you decide to drop in and chat with me while I'm working on cool stuff. So let's crank up ZBrush here and let's see what I've got. Let's scooch that around. Let's see, I guess you guys can see me while I'm talking or talk while I'm walking or whatever. So I got the microphone there, and the air just kicked on, so I don't know if you guys are hearing that over the microphone either. Anyway, so here's the basis of that. Now I've already kind of set the file up, and I don't know if I've saved it or not, but I had ZBrush crash on me while I was working on something yesterday, and fortunately the autosave saved me because I didn't lose any work on that, so that's good. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is for this little settlement set, I'm thinking about 3 main pieces of terrain, and then of course there's going to be crates and boxes and barrels and all that typical sci-fi scatter stuff sitting around, and Altonium canisters, whatever you want to call it. So the first thing that I wanted to do was to build a like a water purification tower. And you guys will see these, in popular sci-fi movies and TV shows on desert planets and stuff like that. So I was thinking about making something, similar along those lines. So I've got my little base model here, Brack Maxter, and he's already loaded up in the file. So that's going to give me kind of an idea of where the baseline is. Let's see, where's my ruler? So we can build it up to here. And so, okay, so we're going to hide Brack. And so I'm going to build the base water purification tower kind of around this cylinder object. So let's see, I know his base is like 25 millimeters. So we want a 25 millimeter footprint on it just to make it easy, to place scatter terrain. So it's not super big. So let's see. Well, hey, it looks like Timothy's jumped in. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for popping on by the live stream here. I'm just getting the file set up and everything for what I'm working on. I'm glad you were able to make it early this time. I was just complaining about, you know, having to do all my lawnmower maintenance this week. So hopefully I'll be able to get some sculpting done now that that's all taken care of. I got the whole property mowed, so that's a good thing. It was knee deep in certain places, so it's rained a lot here, and I've been needing to get the lawnmower repaired so that I could get it running around today and get it all mowed. So let's see. That doesn't look like that's centered. Bracken does not look centered. Let's see. Let's scooch him over a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right. Springtime. Yeah, and that's not as bad as it was. I can't remember if it was last summer or the summer before, but I had gone out, and right before the rainy season started, I had spread weed killer and fertilizer all over the property. And then it proceeded to rain for an entire month. And I think that was in March. Yeah. And so it was like a year ago, or if it was the year before, I can't remember exactly when it was. But the thing about it is, it was so wet out in the on the property, I couldn't mow it. So all I could do was we just watched it grow and keep growing. And by the time that I was able to mow it, the grass was so tall that I couldn't see over it when I was sitting on the riding mower. So it was almost shoulder high in the deepest places out there. So I had to inch along a little bit, you know, like to mow it all down. And there was just piles and piles of grass. And fortunately, my neighbor has this little grass catcher doodad that he's rigged up, and they put it on their little 4x4 thing and ran it around the property and scooped up all of the dead grass, and then I had to burn that in a giant pile and all this, and it took 2 days to burn that. So it was, I don't want to do that again. So okay, so I'm working on my new water purifier system here. So I want to set up the file, so that's kind of the base of it. And I may actually create another base. Let's see. I just want to make sure that it's wide enough. Okay. So let's actually duplicate that. And this is actually going to be my base. All about that base. Let's make it 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters thick. Yeah, that's pretty close. Close enough for sculpt work. Okay, so we'll put that down here. It would be cool if ZBrush had like a snap feature where, you know, you could set up a grid and then you could move stuff around and it would just lock into place, but it doesn't have that. So I know some other software does, but I'm not familiar with that software. So I have to make do. Let's see, I'm gonna call this base. Right? Yeah. Okay, so we'll turn off transparency because that's irritating. And let's see, we'll put this guy. And I'm going to put some greeblies and stuff around the bottom of that. So, okay. Let's measure that. 3/4 of an inch. Yeah. Okay, so that's going to be our base mesh to work from. Let's see, want to keep that. Bring that up a little bit. So let's see, where's eye level? That's going to be about eye level. So if we were going to put like a console or something in, it would go in right about here, I would imagine, for maintenance stuff. So, okay. So what I need to do is I'm going to punch up the resolution on that. Let's do one more. Ooh, boy, that's high. Okay. Yeah, so that's going to give us pretty much what we're looking for. Let's see. I'm going to go over here. So I've got on my other monitor, I've got my reference file, so I can kind of take a look at that. Let's see, open image, a new tab. There we go. That's exactly what I'm looking for. All right. Yeah. Okay, that's working. And then we're gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna mask off. I'm gonna mask off this area. And I don't like that. Okay. Oh, I know what I can do. Okay, so I'm gonna mask off this area again. Then let's see, we'll do that. And do that. Okay. I'm going to turn on polygroups. And ooh, man, boy, you really can't see those, can you? Okay. So I want to go down to deformation here, and I'm going to polish my groups, and hopefully that'll take care of some of those stray polygons that are on the thing. Okay, so now what I want to do is, let's see, I'm going to select this, and it still didn't. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slice it. Let's go slice rectangle. Let's slice it about here. Let's see. Okay, given the current sculpting projects have been counterblast related, how far into the future of the game universe do you have mapped out in your head? I did watch the Kickstarter podcast. Well, yeah, and I had talked about the why is that? Okay, I'd talked about the Edo invasion a little bit and kind of alluded to that. So that's kind of one thing, but that, I mean, that's kind of like, it would be cool to do like an Earth type thing. Um, it's not really. Well, I mean, are you talking about in the future of the game, or are you talking about in the game setting, or are you talking about in the future of like our future publications? Because in the future of the game setting, we have a bunch of different ideas, but they're happening kind of around the same time, but like in different locations. So, but as far as like the future of like our publishing schedule, there's a bunch of cool stuff that we have, but I don't know how soon we're going to be able to get to it, because it's going to depend on, whether people are going to want to, continue to support the game setting or not. The game primarily. Okay. Yeah, the game setting. Yeah, probably, let's see, it's mid 50s. So, maybe, I don't know that we want to advance the timeline too much until, something catastrophic happens, if it does. But I haven't really developed stuff, too far down the line at this point. So let's see. What am I'm looking for? Oh, here we go. Inflate. I want to deflate this. Probably not that much. Oh, it looks pretty good. Okay. So let's polish by groups. Ooh, boy, that does some weird stuff. Okay. Then I want to. I'm gonna remesh this. Let's go to ZRemesher, and I want to keep the same amount of polygons on there. So, and I also want to keep the groups. So, let's see if that'll run that. Yeah, and and seeing how the Kickstarter project has fared, we're looking at some alternatives for how we want to move forward with producing the book and so forth. So that's still going to happen. We're still going to print the books. We're still going to make the lunch boxes. We're still going to do that stuff. It's just probably not going to be as many of them as could have been on the Kickstarter. So. And that's still processing. Come on. And I think I can select this one. Wow, that's still really doing some weird stuff. Okay. Yeah, I'm not liking any of that. So this is the fun thing, is the undo button. Let's undo all of that. Okay. Actually, we're not going to do... We're going to keep this part. And, oh, yeah. And let's see, if I edge loop it... We'll see if that helps. Still getting some tearing across there. far down. Ooh, wait, that's all the way. I'm going to go to about maybe 60 or so. Yeah, okay. All right. Then let's try this. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, let's Dynamesh it at 512 and see what happens. Let's see, counterbalance models are great. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see, show a lot of imagination. Of course, I'm a fan of your... Oh, well, thanks, man. I appreciate your interest in our stuff. You know, right now you're basically our #1 supporting fan of the Counterblast lore and so forth. So that's great. Still waiting on Cat Girls and Matox. Yeah, I've got Matox in the works. I've got those and Azros that I want to put together next for the Niran. So and some Vorogs. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure how long that's going to take for me to get those wrapped up. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. So let's remash it now and see how that comes out. See if I can get that number back down. See, that may be a cool thing to do, you know, in like a fantasy thing over on Tribes or whatever, is to put some more jungle elves on raptors or cat girls on raptors, or, you know, that type of stuff. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's a lot better. Let's turn that off and turn that off. Okay. So here we go. Okay, so we're going to key a piece into that, and what I want is I want another cylinder. Insert cylinder. We're still on solo. Okay, so turn off Brack, and let's see, I want the base. All right, so wow, is that how big those things are? It's like 4 inches? I don't know. Let's see. Where's Brack? Huh, yeah, that'll probably work. That will probably work. So that's almost that big. And let's move this cylinder. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Let's move the cylinder up here. And then I want to take a look at let's come back off of that a little bit. So, okay. Okay, we're going to do basically the same thing. But this time, I'm going to do equal, let's see, transform. We're going to transform on the Y axis, and that's going to give us equal distance. Yeah, okay. So let's go back to, let's add a little bit of geometry to it, and then we'll Dynamesh at 12. Yeah, okay. Pretty close. Is this the middle? I can't. Okay, there it is. Can't see where I'm. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, okay. All right. Nothing like starting over on something because you forgot to do something. Alright, well, let's put the one in the middle first so I get kind of an idea of where that's supposed to be. Yeah, okay, then we'll divide these up roughly here and here. Yeah. Awesome. Alright, and then we're going to go back to the deformation palette and we're going to deflate that a little bit to kind of inset that. Okay, and then I've got a lot of, let's see, right, okay, so those are the groups. See what it looks like polished up. Nope. Tree, let's see, we'll go back to Dynamesh. Let's Dynamesh all of it, and we'll just reset. Yeah, nothing like starting over. All right. So let's do. Oh boy, this is a good way to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and turn the symmetry back on, so it'll be top and bottom symmetrical, and then I'm going to run this, and it should level everything out. And then we can start putting details and stuff on it, which will be cool. Yeah, okay. Yep, okay. Divide that a little bit, smooth it out. And then let's see where that is. Okay, so then this is going to go up here. And then I'm going to want, I think I want to put some kind of a transition bit in there. I'm going to need 2 of those. So let's see, let's put the first one on this one. So I'll turn that off. And let's look at the insert mesh brushes. Where's my little shape? Nope, that's not it. Here we go. I'm looking for that right there. Okay. Hide that. Yeah. Ooh, fun. Okay. Let's see. Is it? Yep. Okay, so what I want to do is I think I need to oh, I gotta split it off onto its own thing first of all. Let's do that. And split masked points. Okay, so now it's its own thingy. It's its own thingy. That's what we want. And we want it to be its own thingy. So oh boy, that's oh, it is already creased around that. That's what these double lines are around these edges, is that it's got a crease on it. Let's see. At least digital sculpting has an undo function. Yes, it does. That's one of the reasons why I love sculpting in ZBrush and not having to mess with putty anymore. I can't imagine how many times you've had to cut out mistakes on physical sculpts. And well, early on, I had to do a lot of that. I wound up having to, like, I would sculpt something and then send pictures, and then they would send back. It's like, no, we want, this is weird looking, whatever. So then I would have to cut stuff off and then sculpt stuff onto it. And but then, the further along that you go, the less you have to do that, because you learn, oh, okay, this is what this is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm trying to make. This is how big it needs to be. And, so you take that stuff into account so that it, the further along the further along that you go, the less and less you have to do that sort of revision on things. So, I mean, but even, sculpting digitally, I've still got to make revisions on stuff. And, even though you don't have to cut stuff off, because it's all like separate parts until you merge it all together, you still have to throw stuff away. It's like, I've sculpted this thing and it's wrong, or they want something different, and now I have to sculpt another thing. So there's still a little bit of that, but it's not as much. And, doing it digitally is a lot easier. But you still have to replicate the work. So, okay, so I was going back to divide that so it's all smoothified. And I want to, actually, while I'm in there, I want to remesh it. Yeah, but I don't want it to, I want it to stay the same. I don't want the creases to round off too much. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. All right. So this one's going to go here. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate that, and then this one's going to go up here. Okay. ZBrush has got a lot of really cool hard surface tools and stuff, and there's some stuff in the Z modeler that you can do now that's got like a lot of really cool added benefits for doing like box modeling, they call it, or base mesh modeling. I don't really mess with it a lot because I'm kind of comfortable using the tools that I have here. You know what? That's not having the effect that I thought it would. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and see here, this is an example of that. I'm going to delete that, and then I'm going to add another cylinder, and I'm going to put that up here. And let's go to the top of the thing, and let's see. And I want, oh boy, okay. Yeah, that's about how tall I want it. But I need to see the ruler, so let's put it back down here. And we're going to pin this corner so it doesn't curve. So 40%. That's still going to give me, those are like 3 millimeter. Ooh. 2 millimeter. Yeah. Huh. Okay. I think that'll work. I think that will work. So we'll keep that. And all right, so I think we can go and start adding some details on there. So let's see. The first thing that I can do is I can put we'll go back to here. And I'm going to take this little insert cylinder. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 6 of those. Okay. We're going to do that, and then we're going to. It kind of looks like a crayon at this point. So let's go back and let's mesh all of that stuff together. Because I'm not going to change any of this base shape. I guess it's done. Okay, finished. Okay. And then all right. And then let's go back to before. Let's see. If I heard you correctly, when I came in, that is supposed to be a water purifier. Yes, it is. Or a moisturizer or something like that. So I'm working out getting the base shape of it down so that I can go in and start putting the greeblies and details on it. So and then we're going to put this here, and then that's going to fit onto here. And did I? Yeah. Polish by groups. Let's smooth it out. Somewhat. Yeah, all right. And I'm just really kind of making it up as I go along. It's processing. I need like I need a progress bar across my forehead, like while I'm thinking of stuff. Most of the time it's just a flat line anyway. It's like, ooh, you know, so. Oh, but good news out there. Last week, and I forgot to tell you guys about this. We reserved our show space at ReaperCon. So we got that all locked in. We got 3 spaces like right there in the middle, you know, as you come in through the main door to the vendor area. So that's super cool. We're excited about that. And then we also register hey, you goes. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Thanks for stopping by and checking it out. The sculpting that I'm working on right now is I'm doing some sci-fi scatter terrain for a frontier settlement, and this is a water purification system. So working on getting all the base parts blocked out, and then I'm going to go in and kind of detail that out a little bit. So that's what I've got going at the moment. And then I wanted to try to put a generator together, like a little power generator, and I'll see if we can get to that before we wrap up this evening. So okay, let's turn off poly groups, and I'm going to go back up to this now that I've got everything set up, and go through, and I'm going to put, let's see, let's put that right here. All right. Added a little bit of detail on there. So I think hey, that's a good idea. I don't think I've actually saved it in a while, so right. That's not what I wanted. I keep hitting that by mistake. Let's see. All right. Back up there. And I'm going to move another one up. And I'm going to put this one around over here. And then I think I'm going to move this one here. And we'll make that a little bit smaller. Put that guy up here. And then okay. There's some little greedlies. Okay. Let's do this guy. Oop. Merge it down, and then we'll group all of that together. Okay. So let's see. I need to select the right thing. Okay. Maybe we do 2 of those. Wow. What's going on there? Oh. Yeah, okay. So this, I don't have that. Did I move that off center? Let's see. I probably did. Okay. And then let's move this guy back down here. Okay, so I've got my little doodad, and I want to make a pair of them. So I'm going to mirror and weld that across there, and then I can scooch them together. Put them in right here. Okay, yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking. All right, so what we need to do is we need to punch up the resolution on those guys because they're still super low res. And then, there we go. All right. So I'm going to turn that symmetry off and reset that. And let's go, we'll duplicate that. And we'll move those guys 120. Yeah. And then we'll duplicate those guys again and move them 120. So they're around the little tanks or whatever around the perimeter. So, okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to put all of those together. Actually, I'm just going to merge them all down. I'm just going to merge all these guys together, and then we're going to group all of it together. All right. So that's going to be the top part of our water collection tower. And so let's go and take a look at what we got going on here. So we'll put that guy. Kind of want to beef up the, actually I need to decrease those edges and then divide it so that it stays disc-like. Yeah. All right. Okay. So then we've got this, and I wanted to, let's see, I need to create a little console area. Okay, so here's my little reference guy. So we'll turn the transparency back on so we can see how tall he is in there, because we want our little console area to kind of go like right here. for maintenance and stuff. Okay, so I've got a I had imported a control panel that I had made for another part, and it's basically it's the same thing. It's like it's just a square with a bunch of little other squares and cylinders on it, and then I made these little dials, you know, basically the same way, and I put it all together. But this is all meshed together now as like one object. So so now I can move it around, and I know that it's the same size as like the other displays. So you could, you know, like you can paint like little radar stuff on this, or some kind of readout, or vitals, or whatever you want to do. But what I want is I need a box, so I'm going to mask off the front end of that, and I'm going to stretch that out so that I've got a box there. Now what that's done is that's actually, if we look at the wheel, we turn that off and turn that on, and yeah, so you can see that it's stretched out the polygons. So what I want to do is I'm gonna remesh that, or I'm gonna dynamesh it again. Let's see, I think it's at 512, and then that should reset the resolution on it. There we go. Yep. All right. There we go. Okay, cool. Just what I was thinking. All right, so we're going to go ahead and mesh that together, or I mean merge it together. Let's see. Speaking of experience as an IT administrator with server racks, those panels are best if they are about mid-chest high with the monitor about eye level. All right. Let's take a look at where we got old Brack there. It's going to put the panel about chest high, and the monitor is a little bit lower than eye level, but you know, I guess you could look down at it. So I'm going to call that close enough. Let's see. Control panel, keyboard, yeah, okay, those little displays are great. Give your counterblast equipment models a distinct look. Yeah, thanks. It's very retro looking. I went and swiped a bunch of still images from the 1930s serials for Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon, like the interior of their ships, and they've all got these like really submarine looking, you know, controls. There's lots of like little control wheels and dials and all of that sort of thing. So it's so yeah, it gives it that retro kind of look. So yeah, for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and move Brack back out of the way, and let's see, have we got, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and there we go. And let's go ahead and save that. We'll save it. Saving. Yeah, okay. All right, we're going to put this on the top, and what'll happen is before I export this for print, I'll key these two pieces together so they'll be, you know, you can print them separate so they won't take so long. But okay, there's two other items that I want to do real quick, and then we're going to move on to working on the generator. So that's bothering me. Okay. All right. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these capsules and I'm going to put that in there. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to take and I'm going to duplicate this base. Let's move that up to here. And let's go to taper. Yep. Okay, and I think that's going to be, yep, that's sitting on the ground. Okay, so we got the top part and we got the bottom part, and then I want to put some supports going around the perimeter of it, and those are going to sit right about there. Okay, so we're going to go and insert this capsule. That right about there. Actually, I need to measure that. So let's go back to there. That's not going to help me. I need to turn that off. Okay. So that's 2 millimeters. 50%. Would be 3 millimeters. That's going to be about that. So I'm going to say, I'm going to say 5 millimeters. That's 4.5. 5. Yeah, 5 millimeters. Let me see if that looks weird with as big as this thing is. Nope, that's about right. Okay, so we're going to make those posts about 5 millimeters. And I want them to come up to about here. Yeah. And let's keep that within our 50 millimeter footprint. So I wonder if I can, if 40 is too close, so let's see. Yeah. Probably right about there. All right, so we're gonna put this here. Trim that off. It actually trims off to about here. So let's do that. Okay. And then let's back here, and then we'll Dynamesh that to reset the yeah. Okay, and then we'll divide it up a little bit. And I want to, I'm going to mask here. Oh, hey Shane, thanks for dropping in. That's okay. I'm just working on some stuff. Glad you were able to make it. Oop, let's reverse that. Ooh, are you going to quit? Nope, that's not what I wanted at all. So let's save that again, just to make sure in case anything crazy happens. Okay. Yeah, that's me not paying attention to what I'm doing. Okay. If I'm going to do that, then that's got to go here and here. There we go. All right, so let's see, I need a cubicle object. Let's go ahead and close that. Okay, so what's interesting is there's, it looks like there's a thing here and there's a thingy here. All right, so let's go back to insert cube. Yeah, okay. All right. So now we've got our little side support, and we're going to do pretty much like we did with the little tanks at the top of it. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to set the gizmo to the world center, and then I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to move the duplicate 100 and 20 degrees, and then I'm going to move, then I'm going to duplicate it again and move that one to 120 degrees, and then I'm going to merge all of those together. And center it 30 degrees. Okay. So we've got something that looks like that. And I will probably go and put a couple of other little details on it, but then I'll have to key that. So like when it prints, it's like there's going to be this bottom section and then one of these and then this top section, and then there will be little keys where these supports fit into the side of the unit. So I'll do all that once I get that finished up, but it's looking pretty cool so far. So let's name our things. Let's see, I'm just going to call this bottom cylinder. Okay, and let's put all that on a folder. Let's see, new folder. Water purifier. Okay, so we'll put you in there, and we'll put you in there, and then we can close that up. And cool. And we'll save that. And now I'm going to work on the power generators. So this will be pretty interesting because I'm going to need to do some tricky Boolean stuff. So let's go ahead and start with a cylinder again. And actually, let me move that out of the way down here so I can get to bracket. Okay. And insert cylinder. Great. Okay. All right. So I want the footprint of this to be 50 millimeters across. And then, so, is it really? Yeah, yeah. All right. So then we'll go back to our insert parts where this one is. And I want another one of these. Oop. I don't want to actually draw on it. There we go. Okay, and let's split that off so that I can work on this object on its own. Okay, let's center that. And we'll hide the cylinder for now. Well, actually, I need to increase the size of that. Okay. All right. So geometry, let's see, we'll go to divide. We're going to remesh the resolution on that and see how that comes out. Let's see. When I described Brack as a poster boy for humanity in uniform, I did not realize he was also the galactic stand-in of Measurement 2. Yeah, he's my baseline standard human figure for pretty much all of the all of the sculpts. And I mean, even if it's not counterblast, he's kind of been the stand-in for pretty much general bombshell sculpts, um, which is pretty handy. So, okay, let's see. How many of those? Let's see. How many of these do I want to put around there? Okay, so I'm going to go to radial count is 8. We'll see. I want this guy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that looks generatory. Okay. We'll split those guys off. And then I also want to increase and then divide. Yep. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to be able to cut a section of that out so that I can see greeblies on the inside of it. And I wonder if I can make them just a little bit bigger. I wonder if I do this, if it'll. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. No, I guess that's probably going to be as big as it's going to get. Let's see. That'll still work. Okay. Okay, so let's turn off symmetry. Actually, I'm going to set that back to the way it was. And then we'll center the gizmo. And then I'm going to turn this into a Boolean object. And then I'm going to turn on live Boolean up there. And use this as a cutter. Cut into that. I don't know that I want it to go all the way through. Oops. I got a little off track there. Yeah, why not? That gives me options. Okay. So I'm going to go over here and let's see, is it in subtool? Yeah. Make Boolean mesh. Cool. Okay. So I'm going to turn these guys off and then insert the U mesh, and there it is. And I'm going to remesh all of that so that I can make sure that it's got workable topology on it. See if we can. No, it won't cancel out. It's thinking. I can hear the fan spinning from here. It's like watching paint dry or watching grass grow or something. I don't know. Anyway, so let's see. Okay, if you turn on your Z-axis in symmetry, you get a much nicer Z-remesh for cylindrical objects. Yeah, yep, that's true. I'm gonna do some other stuff with this. So actually, I'm gonna cut this like probably right across here and then remesh it again. So yeah, I usually do that. I noticed that in spheres and other rounded objects, if particularly if they're symmetrical, then if you turn symmetry on, it also actually it doesn't take as long to remesh either. I may just start over. So, while we're waiting on that, I did want to tell you guys that, let's see, let's look at desktop, and yep, I was going to tell you guys, hey, we've still got this offer running over in the web store. So if you didn't know about that, with any purchase of $40 or more over at bombshellminis.com, you can get a free Illyrian Trooper guy named Norg. Or if you've already got that guy or you want a different one, we've also got these other free miniatures that we're giving away this month too. So you can pick one of those. With every $40 purchase, you're going to get one. So if you buy $80 worth of stuff, you can pick two. So that just depends on how you want to do that. And that's going to be good through the end of the month. So we'll wrap that up on April 30th, and we'll come up with some other free stuff to give away next month. So sponsored by Bombshell Miniatures. Let's see, how hard is it to determine negative spaces on digital models? I'm sure your experience helps, but for us amateurs, it would be good to know what to look for. Let's see, determine negative spaces on digital models. I'm not really sure. They've added this little thumbnail up in the corner so you can kind of see what the silhouette of the thing is, so you can determine what, I guess that's what you're talking about as far as negative space. Or do you mean like if we're looking at Brack, it's like, well, this space in here, or or the space between here, to see what this silhouette is. I guess I'm not sure how to answer that. It's what's actually harder than pretty much anything else working digitally is getting a model balanced, because you've got like a center line that goes all the way through the model, like where the ruler is. So you can see that it's like, well, the weight's over on this leg, and so he needs to be leaned over this way and all that. And I see a lot of models on Patreon and so forth in these big collections of stuff where the models are running and they don't look like there's any gravity at work at all, and it doesn't look right, and it's a weird thing. So you've got to have experience with composition and balance and weight and that sort of thing, from practical sculpting, and to understand, how models need to be balanced and everything. Okay, so let's see. Where the mold snags and rips. Oh, okay. You're talking about like undercuts. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah. I don't. The last 5 5 or 6 releases that we put out, I haven't really been paying attention to that anymore because we're going directly to 3D printing. So that's not really as important, but I'm still trying to fill in stuff. Just in case it's like we do want to go to mold with it. So like if you look at Brack, I sculpted him, you know, with the intention of like, okay, well, this is going to go to mold. And it helps anyway because he's lined up pretty well across this axis, you know. So the mold is going to, you know, cut across there. You know, he's going to, you know, it's going to be like this way, right? You know, across there. So, so that he goes in and out of the mold, you know. The thing that you got to watch for is like, if he had a pouch and like the pouch extended past the shirt here and there's a void in between where his butt and the pouch is with the thing. So, you know, you got to fill underneath that. And I just do that by habit. So like, for example, this belt buckle, the belt buckle goes like all the way into the belt. There's no, you know, undercut, you know, under that either. And that's been, you know, fairly common in miniatures, like, you know, going way back to the 70s, you know, even when Tom Meyer first discovered green stuff and started sculpting with that, you know, for Raul Partha. So I guess it's just a habit of mine now that I tend to look for those areas, and sometimes I'll take like a sphere or a little and I basically, it's like digital bubble gum. I think Shane Olson called it bubble gum, working on those guys when they were doing the Disney Infinity things or whatever. But anyway, so you just take the geometry and shove it in there and then kind of sculpt it into place so that it fills those voids and so forth. So it's just as easy to do digitally if you know what you're looking for as it is to fill them on, you know, practical sculpts. So because I used to do a lot of backfilling on things because I tend to model stuff more than I sculpt stuff. So I'll make little components and then stick them together. Particularly like, you know, you're putting a model together, or you're sculpting a guy or girl or whatever, and they've got like a lot of little, you know, equipment and pouches and things. And the swords are the worst because it's like you don't want the sword sticking off of one side and unsupported, and then there's a gap between that and the leg where there's a scabbard or whatever. Anyway, so you got to fill that stuff in. And and swords are rigid, and usually they're laying up against something that's curved. And so it's a big hassle to fill that stuff in. And I had to do some of that. If you go back and watch the video on like a couple of weeks ago when I was showing the Adepticon sculpt that I did for Victoria Miniatures, you go back to that one, and like her chainsword goes, you know, across the front of her coat, and there's a void there, and I had to create a fold, and Victoria suggested, hey, why don't you do, you know, fold it back, or she folded it back or something anyway, and we sculpted on it. And so we got it filled in so that it's all one piece, because she didn't want to have to do like a lot of different components and so forth for that character. It wanted to be a one piece sculpt, and then it had to go into a Ceocast mold. So yeah, so that it's, you know, it's easy to do, you know, if you just look around the model and look for those little places to fill in, or look where there's, you know, voids and that kind of thing. So particularly like on this area, you know, like if he had a sword in a scabbard or something that was coming down his leg, then like all of these little bumps and so forth, you know, like the sword's going to lay against that, and you kind of want to fill, you know, underneath that. So just to make sure that there's nothing, that no mold material gets trapped under there. So yeah. And maybe it's a little bit easier to do with this because, you know, you can zoom in on it and look at it like really close, you know, if you want to. Whereas, you know, doing it practically, it's like, well, you got to look, you know, use your magnification and stuff and all that. So, I hope that answered your question. I hope that was what you were looking for. So let's see, we'll go back to, we'll divide that up and go back and finish out our generator. Let's see. I want to put some like tubes or something in there that you can paint like they're glowy. So let's try this ring. Did it put it in there? Yeah. Okay. So what I want to do is thin it out because I want to put a lot of them in there. Let's move it up here where I can see it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and hide this because basically I'm just going to work from here out. And let's increase this a little bit, so that's going to give me like a ridge along here, which will be cool to paint. So, okay, so I'm going to duplicate that, and then I'm going to enlarge it. How much? 25, 125. So then if I... Oh, it's not going to tell me, is it? It's just going to be a guess. I think that's about right. Okay, I'm going to duplicate another one. We'll go here. Let's reduce that a little bit. And we want to make sure that they intersect. I wonder if I can get like 5 of these. Ooh, it's even more. Okay. So, duplicate. And I'll betcha. Oh, one of them is off. Let's see, is it this one? Yeah. Okay. Bring that back up. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge, and then duplicate that, and then make that even bigger. And I wonder if I can still, if it'll, yeah, that's not the effect that I wanted. I guess I'm just going to have to keep doing them one at a time. Okay, so let's go back and wash, rinse, repeat. What was that movie, Edge of Tomorrow? That's like live, die, live again. I can't remember what the tagline was on that. Okay, so let's check our size here. Oop, yep, that's what we're looking for. Okay, we just wanted it to come all the way out to the edge. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and merge the last of those together. And then we'll go over here and divide them up. And then we'll mesh them all together so that it's one object. Oh, I keep forgetting that. See if it finishes meshing it. Time to hydrate. Drink them if you got them. Actually, I'm out of Shiner Bock. Now that I think about it, I need to get some more Shiner out here. Okay, and it's projecting it, and projecting. Come on. There we go. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's run that on it. And that should be the insert for a generator. And then we can put some little greeblies on there, and that should be ready to go. So come on. Okay, so I was telling Timothy at the beginning of the show that I was having problems with my lawnmower for the last couple of weeks. And so what I thought I was going to do was I was going to do some preliminary maintenance on the mower. And I've got a riding lawnmower because we've got like an acre out here in order to, you know, keep it mowed. So I thought, okay, so I'm going to give it a total overhaul. I'm going to, you know, change the oil, the spark plugs. I'm going to put new fresh blades on it, and change the oil filter, change the air filter. I had all of these parts. I bought those at the end of the season last year in order to, you know, do the maintenance on it, you know, before starting the mowing season this year. So I got all that stuff done. And in order to change the blades, I was having a lot of problems getting the nuts off of the bolts to get it apart because they had all rusted on there, and so I had to buy some other sockets and so forth in order to get that done. So yeah, I got all that done. It took me a couple of days. I got it all switched out and everything. So I got part of the front of the house mowed, and it was mowing down the side, and then the deck dropped, and the lawnmower blade on the starboard side went into the dirt, and it stripped out the gears on the lawnmower blade. So I drove that back around into the shop over out back here and parked it until I could order some replacement spindles to put the lawnmower blades back on. So I ordered a set of those and some new pulleys, and then I put those on the other day, and I think I'm still waiting for this to mesh, and it's still not meshing. Why aren't you meshing? Okay, all right. I guess I'm just gonna have to leave it like this. Anyway, so I got the lawnmower blades. I got the spindles replaced on there and got the pulleys replaced. And apparently there's a spacer where the nut attaches to the pulley on the mower deck. And so the belt that goes through there that runs all of that stuff, it wasn't seated right. And so it kept slipping off while I was trying to mow. And so... so I had to bring it back into the shop and take the deck back off of it. I had to chewed up the belt that I had on there, so I had to order a replacement belt. And I finally got that in yesterday. And then I I took the deck, I drove the lawnmower back around over here, and then took the deck off of it again. So that's 3 times I've disassembled the lawnmower this week, and took the nuts and the pulleys off, put the spacers underneath the pulley on each side, and then put the new belt on and put it all back together. And so then I spent this afternoon mowing the yard, and I finally got it done. So it's not piled up all over, it's not knee deep anymore. So and the reason that I was trying to get all of that done was because it's supposed to be raining here this weekend, and if it rains like they're projecting that it's going to rain, it would still take me like another week, for it to dry out in order to mow again. So I wanted to try to be sure to get that done today as soon as possible. So, okay. So these are the vents on our generator thing that we've got. So, what I would like to do is I'm going to put, well, let's see. Yeah, that's the original. Ooh, okay. So I'm going to duplicate that. I've still got that. So I'm going to put this. Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to merge that down so that those are all one thing. And then I'm going to put this on there. And I want to turn off that array. Transform. Let's go back and turn all of that off. Okay, so... Whoop. I wonder if that should be here. That looks kind of cool. Yeah. All right. There we go. Okay. So, all right. So before I glue all of that together, actually I did glue that together. So let me split that back out for just a second. Split mask points. Right, okay. So I want to take that object and is that it? Is that front? That's not front. Oh, right, yeah, I've still got it. I haven't turned it yet. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I know what I got to turn that off. Okay, let's try that one more time. Almost. There we go. That's too wide. Yeah. Something a little bit more like that. All right. Okay, let's put that grill back inside there. And maybe it should be seated just a little bit deeper. Something like that. Maybe these are Ultonium power coils or some such. We'll see. So we're going to go here, here, and here. And I'm going to actually, before I do that, let's see, I only need that at one end or at the other end. Okay, so going to be the easiest way to do that? Yeah, okay, all right. Sometimes it's like if you're making it up as you go along, you have to kind of think, how am I going to do all of this? And how is it going to work? Okay. So what we want to do is we're going to pin this here. And then I'm going to replicate this by moving it down just far enough to where it still intersects with its other object. Now all I have to do is press the 1 key, and that's 1. And it's supposed to do the thing. There we go. Okay, so that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So there's our generator array. And here's our coil. All right. So, wow. All right. Just trying to get everything situated here. I'm going to turn this pin off, and then I'm going to turn that off. And then, let's see. All right. So now I can put this up here. And then I can select mirror and weld. Even though it's going to be far away, it's not going to weld anything. It's still going to put one at the other end, which was what I wanted to do. So starting to get kind of bogged down because it's getting kind of heavy. So, okay, so then we'll do the same thing to this, wherever this is. Make sure that that intersects in all of the areas. Yep, all right. So we'll merge down, and I missed that. Yep, I figured as much. Let's split that back off. There we go. Now there's one at the other end. Okay. So we'll go ahead and merge those guys back down. And then what I want to do is center this. I'm glad that's saving that there because I was just about to do that. All right. See, that's weird because I can't. Is it 20 degrees? Let's see. Is that centered? No. Okay. what I need to do is I need to rotate it on the z-axis 25.5. So let's see, rotate along the z-axis 25.5. There we go. That still doesn't look right. Let's see. It looks like it's off. Is it 30? Let's see. No. See, that looks like there's more on top than on this side than there is on the other side. There's more over here than there is over there. So I've got to think that it's not 30 and it's not 25. 27.5? 27.5. No, that's not it either. Oh man, gotta help with the maths. Okay, I'll buy that. No, that's not what I wanted to do either. Stop. Okay. Yep. It quit. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let me see if I can get it fired back up before we wrap up here. So, yeah. ZBrush did not like what I was trying to do. It was just a little bit heavy. It's a good thing that I saved it before I did that. So, that way I don't have to go back and redo too much stuff. So, but yeah, it's for some reason running the OBS software for streaming, it eats up a lot of memory and so forth, or something like that. And ZBrush likes to use a lot of memory, so the two of those do not play nice together on this computer system that I have. So it's I'm just trying to make do until I can get something new. So we'll see if we can get this open back up and finish out that power generator. Okay, let's see. Where did you leave off? I think if I just open that up, that's going to be... Yeah. Let's go back to here and delete that. And let's see. I think that we had determined that in order to level these vents across there, it was going to need to be rotated 24 degrees. And that looks correct. So we'll go back to here, and then we'll duplicate this for safety, just in the event of something going wrong. And then we're going to save it at this point because it may quit again. Who knows? It's going to be in terrain. I want to save it as terrain. Yeah, okay. So now we'll try to cut it. Oop, how about this one? There we go. I'm just going to guess that that's the middle. Haha! Okay. Yeah, well, I hope you've enjoyed the ZBrush sculpting this evening, and I'm going to have to try to figure out how to get that to work. What I was trying to do was, now that I've gotten the cylinder all turned on the side, I was going to go ahead and cut it flat across the bottom, and that's going to be our little power generator apparatus. So, but anyway, I think you guys know where I'm going with this, and you'll probably see it once it's all finished up here in a week or two anyway. So, but anyway, I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out in the chat and watching what we had to do so far. And I'm sorry I didn't quite get to pretty much everything that I had in mind. So let's see, what else was there? Oh, I was going to do a communications array. So I had some dishes and stuff and power thing. Well, you know, and if I don't get it finished by next Wednesday, then we may just do a part 2 of this, and so I can wrap up the little terrain pieces, and we may do some crates and barrels and, you know, that kind of stuff. So anyway, so I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. So I'm on my way up to the couch and to recuperate from all of the yard work and stuff that I did earlier today. But anyway, you guys have a good week, and hopefully you can do some hobby stuff. And if you have anything else that you want to see in the videos, be sure and comment below and like and subscribe, because that really helps our channel out. We're still growing. We're still getting subscribers to come in, and I've also got some edited content that I want to put together and do some hobby videos, and those will be coming up here maybe in the next couple of weeks. So anyway, I will see you next Wednesday. So try to get some hobby stuff done, and I will see you then. Thanks.